So you got the design by Dave Mayhew. You got the design by Dave Mayhew. Shoe number 2, and we're approaching the number 3.
Yes.
The D3, which we had, you have it bronzed up there, looking good.
They had it bronzed.
Okay. Let's make that clear.
It's a pretty well-known shoe.
Yeah, I would say so. So between shoe number 2 and shoe number 3, obviously you said, you start working on the next shoe and the other shoe's coming out.
I told him I think I'm ready. For some reason, I felt like I had enough
design buys
stuff, ads and, all that stuff. I felt like I was at a place where okay. And other people were starting to have shoes and I was like, I enjoy the design aspect of it. I think it'd be kind of fun.
Right. So it's funny because in skateboarding, there's a lot of rumors that go along. There's a lot of stuff, and throughout the whole skateboard industry, what we hear is that you came in, you were late to the meeting, and that was the only shoe left on the table, and you got assigned that shoe. That's what we hear. That's what the whole industry was aware of. So how in your story, how does that hold any truth or not? Like, what was the story behind that whole situation? And how did that even become? Well, go ahead. Tell us your
Was I
side.
late coming here?
No, you were fucking right on time, man. A little early, too.
So,
you're actually an hour early.
Yeah.
My wife loves this one the most because she's heard it from people. I am always on time.
Okay.
I'm early.
Got you.
Throw 2 kids in the mix, I'm still on time.
Okay.
That's just the way I've always been. So my wife just loves that. She just thinks it's so funny.
Yeah.
I mean, to understand how it all came about is to, put yourself in the position of being in different countries, in different skate shops, looking at shoe walls. Mm-hmm. And to me, all I saw was safety.
Okay.
It was kind of repetitious. Mm-hmm. And I was in my mind, I was I want something buck wild.
Okay.
Okay. I get a chance to do this. If it doesn't work, I'll probably get another chance to do it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah. Whatever. At that point, you're just on a bomb, you just do the next one.
Oh, you're rolling the dice.
Yeah.
So I had it in my mind, country after country, store after store, looking at shoes, it was all very safe. Mm-hmm. So in my mind, I was I want a shoe that not only pops off the wall, but you could see somebody from a block away, other side of the street. I can see that he's wearing that shoe.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. This was all in my head before I even came up with the concept.
Okay.
So what happened was I'd come off a tour, and a lot of times I would just put my board away. I'm not skating for a little while.
Gotta
I'm
decompress.
done,
Yeah.
Because you can only do your tricks so many times.
Sure.
That was one thing that always got at me was just the repetition,
Mm-hmm.
You show up at a spot, and you're okay, I got that over there, got that over there.
Yeah.
I got that there, let's go.
Right. Especially when you're on tours doing demos and stuff like that, you're just kind of repeating the same tricks,
So basically I'd come off tour and I lived in San Diego right between by Fashion Valley Mall and there's Mission Valley Mall, 2 big malls, shoe stores. I would go in there and just look, and things just pop out at you. And what had happened was I was in Sports Chalet in Mission Valley Mall. I can remember this.
Sports Chalet.
It was yesterday.
Okay.
And the way they had their wall was huge wall of running, whatever shoes, soccer, baseball, whatever, you know. And then around the corner, they had a little area with hiking boots.
I was going to say hiking. Yeah.
So every time I'd gone in there, I'd pretty much just looked at the shoes, picking up, looking at materials, just trying to think this thing through. And I went around the corner and there's this hiking boot that had on the toe, it had the metal kind of not loops, but you just like put it around like the hiking boots. It's like a hook kind of.
Yes.
And then at the top, it had 2 big holes
Okay.
that you just put your laces through.
Huh.
And I was like, damn. I was like, that's kind of sick. Like, and then instantly I had this vision of just them like tear dropping down the side. And that was like
In
it
a
just hit
pattern
me.
type. Yeah.
It just hit me.
Okay.
You know, and you know, I hate to bust your story, but you know, me being late to the meeting never happened. 'Cause
Okay.
first of all, Osiris never had meetings like that.
No.
Ever.
Okay.
You can ask
Like, hey, here's your shoes. Which one do you guys want?
you can ask any rider.
How does something like that become a thing? How does something like that just travel through the whole industry, the whole skate world? Like, that's the story.
Because
I mean, that's
Where does it start from? How does it gain legs?
I can compare it to the climate change and the wildfires we're having right now. Like these fires start somewhere and they just
go.
They just go.
Right.
So one person says like, you know, I could go around, I could leave here and be like, man, I started the 9 Club. It's my idea.
Yeah.
I might get a couple people, it might start popping, and then next thing you know, like you hear back like, oh, I started. You're like,
Dave Mayhew started
no,
the
he
9
didn't.
Club.
No, he didn't. You know, like
Yeah.
what was that one
It's
game
just-
in like elementary school? You would like whisper to
Game of
someone's-
telephone.
Yeah,
it's a
and then
telephone
you come back
game.
around, you're like, what
Right.
the hell was that?
Yeah.
It's not even close. It's
that's kind of like, and I got to paint this picture. Okay.
Sure.
The design kind of was in my head. So I call Brian Reed, and I need to explain something about Brian here first.
Okay.
So Brian was a filmer,
Yep.
you know, and then how he became part owner, was that after Osiris had started, somehow nobody had trademarked the name or the logo.
Oh, typical skaters.
His dad is in advertising, and somehow he had ended up getting the trademark and the name.
Okay.
And this is like post production, so there's millions of dollars have been spent already.
Oh, wow.
So he comes in, he calls me, and he's like, dude, he's like, you will not believe it. And he's like, I'm in. He's like, I got it in. So he went in and ended up getting a percentage of the company.
Okay.
And he made up the name too, right?
He did.
He brought the name to
But-
the table, yeah.
Oh, the name,
know.
and then he trademarked it,
Yeah.
Right.
and he had no ownership at all prior to
No.
that.
Okay.
He's just a filmer.
Got you.
He had never designed a shoe, never designed anything.
Okay.
That is when Osiris kind of kicked in a gear.
Oh, okay.
Because to me, I was like, Brian and I were close, very close. And I was like, we got somebody in that's going to speak for us.
Okay.
You know, otherwise we weren't in the meetings.
Yes.
And I should go back to Gershon, why he left so quick. I remember coming up to the office and Gershon super pissed. Just like, they won't show me the books. They won't show me anything. And I was just like, whoa, like, what's going on? He's like, fuck it, I'm done. He's like, they won't show me anything.
Like his royalties
Yeah.
or whatever. It's yeah.
You get a check.
Sure. Who knows?
I could
Yeah,
write
see
you.
the
I could,
explanation for this check.
I could
Right.
write you a check. You know.
Yep.
Which always puzzled me. Not to backtrack, but going into board royalties. Do you know how many boards your boards made? Or
Yeah,
like how many boards were made?
they
Like I didn't know. I
Right.
never knew. Like we made 10,000 of your boards and you sold this many.
Right.
And we promoted this many. Like I just got checks.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
So it's like, you know,
Who knows?
it's just yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think a lot of skate companies could say that they were doing that as well.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm
You get
saying.
you get a royalty check, and you don't know. There's no explanation. There's no board sales. There's no nothing.
Right.
Because a lot of people were asking for that. So if you're not asking for it,
Yeah.
then you're not going to get it.
Even
Yeah.
the shoe thing, when you get like a colorway or this or that, they're just getting, here's his check.
Shit's changed dramatically.
No,
I mean, we're in a
see-
different day and age now that comes with the territory. But
That's yeah.
prior, what were you about to say?
Do you think the companies get like offended if you ask them something like that?
It
I
should be
think-
nothing you should be getting offended over, because it's just like you wanting to know
Totally.
the breakdown.
You
But
have.
do you think that is something that they
You
come?
can't care. You can't care.
Yeah.
You gotta
No,
I mean,
but
be
like,
they're
you're
using
looking
your
out for-
name.
Exactly.
Yeah,
if
but
you have
like
a contract with them, it should be completely transparent.
No, but I totally, and I'm not on their
I'd
side.
say some of them, yes, would get offended, but that's their problem.
Exactly, because
Yeah.
you're like Gershon's getting pissed, and they're like, well, why aren't they showing him?
You guys are missing a point. Is they're they're betting on stupidity.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
right.
you're a dumb skateboarder.
If you let it happen, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's kind of we're pawns in this game.
But even the contracts
You know?
that skaters get are really one-sided usually,
Yes.
in favor of the company, not the skater.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're riding
That's always gonna be the case.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
you're riding for, I'll just say Maple. I don't want to say anybody
Yeah,
else's
yeah,
sponsors,
for-
but
for-
like,
for sure.
like, here's Maple. We made, 10 million this year. Here's Dave. He made 12,000.
Right.
You never got like their side of it.
100%.
You had no idea. Like, you'd show up and it's like, I'd show up to Osiris. It was like car dealership, man.
Yeah.
Like, dude, Range Rover,
Yeah,
it's just like,
I
it
mean,
happened
as
quick.
far as them giving you information on the company, that's something different. I think you knowing your information based on your pro shoe, without a doubt, you should know that information. But as far as I think you could probably find out exactly what the company did anyways, because it should be public record, right? Maybe not.
No.
If it's,
Yeah, I don't
It's
think so.
publicly traded.
If it's
Yeah,
publicly
that's if it's
traded,
traded.
yes,
Excuse me. If
yes,
it's traded,
yes. But I agree with Jerron, though. It's like, the internals of the company don't really need to be discussed with the skater, but anytime they're using your likeness or your name to sell product, like, I feel like you're entitled to the breakdown in the report.
And,
for sure.
the fine folks at Osiris were all about like internal feeding and money exchanging and stuff.
Got you. Okay.
They were publicly traded within the
were they?
company.
There you go.
Perfect. Okay. So getting back, so he never trademarked, or he got the trademark. He was in. You thought that was a good thing. You were like, now we have a skater that's going to be talking in our language.
So we're getting back into the time of troubleshooters. So I was skating with Smolik, Lil B.
Yeah.
Like all these heads in San Diego were just like mixing.
Sure.
And once that happened, and Gershon left, and then Adam left. And then we put Canton on because we were skating with Canton a lot, and Canton's just like, he's like my big brother, dude. Canton's the sickest. So, getting Canton on, and then Canton obviously knew Smolik and Little B. They were all tight. So like it all started like forming,
Got you.
And then Chad Knight and Scott Pizzell.
Yeah, man.
Those guys were homies, and
The Storm, Jerry C.
Jerry.
Yeah.
So like his positioning in the company definitely like helped out, but I don't want people to to confuse the fact that he weaseled his way in versus like threw up money.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
Because it's
He found a loophole.
it's all
That's a huge loophole.
your life is based on a lot of your character, your maneuvers.
There you go.
And that's like character right there.
Got you.
So, going on to the D3, which is the D is Dave, 3 is my third shoe.
Third shoe, yeah.
Which Brian cataloged on the computer. That was what he did it as. It wasn't me,
Okay.
because I'm very honest with all this,
Sure.
But what had happened was I saw this hiking boot, had the vision, called Brian, and tried to explain it to him over the phone. And trying to explain it over the phone is not the best way to try to describe a shoe.
Sure.
So I told him about like the lace loops, the whole wave following the lace loops, kind of like, everything you see here.
Yeah.
Like was what I was talking about,
Okay.
And so what had happened was he had said, he's like, I got it. Our whole motto there was the direct influence.
Okay.
So like everything was rider influence, like everything. The offices were downtown San Diego pretty much. Like it was in the heartbeat of what was going on.
Right. You could stop by.
And not this can get mixed in, but to show my level of commitment, like when the first container came in, like I went into the warehouse, sorted shoes out, got everything straight to start filling orders. You know?
Okay.
Like I was.
You were in the trenches.
Once I commit, I'm committed.
Okay.
But yeah, so the shoe, like I called Brian, described it, and Brian went on to come up with his version of what I had told him. And basically, when I had got into the office, it was a couple days later, and he showed me, and I was like, "No, dude, which is a shoe that eventually became the Guru.
Which did have waves in it, right? It was,
yeah. So then I'm sitting there like in front of the computer. I'm like, no, dude, this is the pattern I'm looking for, you know? And I think I sketched it out. Obviously, didn't keep it, or, you know, at that point, like,
whatever.
You know, who knows?
Right.
Like, I didn't even know if the shoe was going to get made, let alone, like, I need to keep this for 30 years later and hold on to it, you know?
Because I know this thing's going to do numbers.
Yeah. You know, so basically, when I went in the office, I was like, no, it's more like this, and kind of showed him the pattern here.
Okay.
And all my shoes I go back to had a toe cap.
Okay.
You know, so you're looking at like, you know, probably 80% of the shoe already is done.
Okay.
You know, so he came up with the bottom and the back.
Got you.
That was Brian.
Okay.
But you know, if you ask anybody about what do you think about a D3, what do you say?
Dave Mayhew.
There you go.
Well,
What's your shoe?
No, the big lace loops. Like that's usually what people
for sure
refer to as like, oh, that shoe with the big lace loops. So that's
I just
the
refer to that
ground.
shoe as one of the biggest shoes ever made.
I know. Yeah.
Biggest is like size or
size.
Yes.
It was
because that was the
it's a big
shoe. Yeah, we can. I mean, obviously we'll get into it, but like, it was like guys and girls wearing it like in junior high school. It just
it transcended skateboarding.
It was
everywhere.
It was everything.
Everywhere. Right.
It
Fred
made me
Durst.
not want to wear them.
Okay.
So
you're saying that the side, the lace loops, all that stuff, the toe cap, everything, and then Brian did the rest of the shoe. He laid it. Okay. Right.
And to go against something he has said about me that I wasn't in Korea working on the shoe, like I never got invited.
Right.
None of the riders got invited. Mm-hmm. That was his job.
Right.
My job was to go kickflip and
skate.
Shove it. You know, like his job was to do the shoe. That's what he worked his way into.
I mean, any skater that designs a shoe is really not in that process. They're designing the aesthetics and what they're looking for. They test out a couple pairs. They're cool. Make these little changes, whatever. The designers actually they're doing the grunt work, so to speak. They're going out and making sure that shoe that rider wants is what they want.
Which is work. You know? And I've never said that Brian didn't do that.
Right.
You know, but the one thing I know he didn't come up with is what I tell you guys is the lace loops, that whole kind of pattern.
Sure.
You know, and, you know, it's obviously became a hot kind of button issue, but, you know,
it's become a big button.
At the end of the day, I don't care what people believe. You know, I can put my head on my pillow and know that what I know.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
For sure.
What were your thoughts when you first got that shoe?
It was everything that I was trying to do.
Even the same. Go ahead, Raj. What?
What were your thoughts when you first got your first paycheck from that shoe?
I'm getting ripped off.
Oh shit! Okay.
Damn, like if I got this, it could be this.
No, I mean my whole going back to it was like I wanted something that stood out.
Right.
That was my whole thought. I was like, it goes along the lines of a gimmick.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
And that was my gimmick, was just to be like, damn, that thing's crazy.
It's outrageous. Yeah.
You know.
Was there samples being made and stuff? Were you testing out shoes that would come back and stuff like that?
I had one. The first sample I got was pretty close to production.
Okay.
And that was in Japan when Brian came over from Korea, met Canton, myself, and Chad Knight in Japan. And he comes in like Santa Claus, you know, because everybody had a sample shoe.
Okay.
And Canton always reminds me of this, that when Brian handed me the shoe, the D3, he's just like, you know, you killed it with this design.
Okay.
Like, I think people are going to be stoked. You did a great job.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
You know, Canton always reminds me of this, even through all this. He's like, dude, I know, like, don't trip. Don't trip, you know. And I'm just like, so yeah, the D3 comes out. You know, I skated the first pair in Japan. I think we made one change was with the first lace loop here. We had added, because I kept ripping shoelaces like fast.
Okay.
So I was like, we need to, bow that in a little bit and create like a little pocket for the lace. And I think that was the one altercation prior to production.
Okay. Got you.
Once the shoe's out, so we're sitting at ASR show, and in the Osiris booth, shoes out, crickets.
Right.
Nobody wanted that shoe. It was like on the chopping block.
Okay.
Basically it backfired.
Right.
Nice try, Dave. I even remember I think it was Mag was like, it looks good, Dave, but it's just not going to work or something,
Got you.
Fast forward 6 months later, flying off the shelves.
I mean, with Fred Durst.
But this is before Fred Durst.
Okay.
Fred Durst, I think, was wearing the 2001s. This is
okay.
This is like D3 mini storm.
Okay.
It's not quite the 2001 hurricane.
Right. Right.
So the D3 started making numbers. I even had shops coming in can you get me a size run, or because they were selling out, they weren't making them fast enough.
Wow.
To come out.
Do you think they were selling more at this point because you were skating in them and having coverage, or why do you think it started selling? Just out of it.
I mean, if somebody could bottle that,
you just never know.
Rich,
time and moment is part of the culture. I think that was happening.
You just never know.
Well, I mean, I will say I would see from S back then, there would be the shoe called the Scheme, where they had all the bells and whistles, these techie, crazy, puffy shoes that just started going nuts.
Yeah.
And I think shoes across the board.
DVS had 3 SKUs that were just bulky and just big and disgusting, but they worked.
Yeah.
But here's where I think it came from, and it goes back to me being this little kid in Wisconsin, and how you could travel all around.
Yeah.
And you would see a kid at a restaurant or something, you'd be like, "That's a skater."
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
I wanted that kind of recognition. If somebody's wearing that, they probably skate.
Right.
For sure.
Because you can't, DVS, DC, you might be able to see from 6 feet, but you can't see it from across the street, which is what I wanted,
Yeah.
I think all that kind of mixed into the design of what I was going for, you know?
Got you.
So second trade show, it's starting to pick up a lot, and there's a buzz about it,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even at that point, it was who knows where this is going to end up, but it was just selling.
Yeah.
And then I think by the next trade show is when sales were really going super strong, and there was already buzz about tricking it out even more.
Okay.
Because I feel what I created was a pattern that you could work off of.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
It's kind of like a car, you got your 4 wheels, but you can make a truck, you can make a car, you can make a sports car, the lace loops, everything that's what people wanted, and that's what was going good,
Got you.
And when did this come out? I'm sorry to cut you off.
So the D3 came out beginning 98, I think.
98.
Amazing.
Okay.
So I think we started working on it in 97, and I think it came out 98 at some point.
Cool.
And to me it was just design a shoe. It was in my contract. We pretty much, that we signed is you must design a shoe.
Sure. Right.
And just all the stories around it and everything. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. It makes me laugh because even to see you guys sit and talk about it, I sit at home sometimes, it's these dudes.
I don't, but that's what
it's going off of what we heard.
I want to reach through and just
and that's something. That's something we didn't even hear recently. We've heard that for the last 20 years.
Totally, and that's something that
and
I think people have to take into account is there's so many fables out there. There's so many stories that deal with high profile skaters even. It's you don't. It's just a game of telephone, You don't know till you...
See, but I'll tell you right now, it's when this game of telephone started.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you when the game of telephone started.
Please.
But it's not quite yet.
Oh. Okay.
So, whatever. The D3's popping off.
It's going good.
And it's going crazy. Kids are wearing it everywhere. So then I didn't want to wear it.
Right.
Because I didn't want to be a kid look at that kid, he's wearing D3s.
Yeah.
You know,
because at this point it's like kids in school were buying them, and then not just everybody that didn't skate.
Yes, it was skate shoes were popular back then. Like, but that one shoe was like everyone that didn't skate.
It's
Every kid that
evolved
didn't
from
skate.
like one crazy scene to another.
Right.
Like it's morphed and it's still selling.
Crazy.
You know, like it's just found its ways to like.
Oh,
I don't know, man.
Sure.
You know?
I just brought up in my head real quick the Instagram that someone's like when they went on the Osiris Instagram account and they put some shit inside the D3. You see that recently? You didn't see that? This was like 2 years ago. Someone like was on the Osiris Instagram account and hacked it. Like they got fired or something, and they went and put a D3 and they put a piece of shit in it. And they posted it
on the
Instagram,
amazing.
dude.
Wow.
Sorry, it was just I just thought about that. Right,
Yeah.
I don't know why, but it was no disrespect towards you.
No, dude, I don't.
I don't give a shit about that.
like I said, you know, you can create something and you don't know where it's gonna go.
Absolutely.
Like you guys created a nightclub.
Right.
You could have 2 viewers, you could have 2 million.
Exactly.
You
We
never
don't
know.
know. Right.
Like you design, you know, like
Right.
you just design it and then it's free.
Yeah.
You know?
So by the third trade show, popping off, you're
Yeah.
starting to see it. You don't want to wear it anymore.
I think up to that point I was wearing
Mm-hmm.
them. But kind of starting to get on the fence because we go on tour and it was like a lot of not skate kids wearing them.
Yeah.
And it's just the weirdest feeling.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, being like a hardcore skater, you're like, it's just weird.
Total.
I mean, you could get off the tour van like in Bumblefudge, like
Totally.
wherever, and you'd find somebody with them.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Right.
Couple people.
Right.
But weren't
Like
you
it was crazy.
weren't you somewhat stoked? I mean, well, maybe we'll talk about the money thing, maybe not. But like, you must have gotten a good royalty checks from these kids that aren't skating buying your shoes.
Yes,
it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
For me, it was definitely a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I'm a skateboarder. I wanted to be known as a skateboarder.
You designed it for skateboarding.
That meant more to me than having a shoe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I gave everything I could to it, you know,
Sure.
to skateboarding, and like, you know, at the end of the day, I think that's how we want to be remembered. You know.
There you go. There you go. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, the shoes popping off. There's starting to be a little bit of buzz. I think some distributors and shops were kind of talking like, let's do something with this, you know, and that's kind of, so then Osiris comes to me and they're like, you know, we want to use the pattern and do something different.
Without
You
your
know.
name on it.
No, with my name on it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cause they knew. It was
There's-
what I came up with it, you know.
This is a hot item.
They
yeah.
came to me
Okay.
to ask, and I said, okay, you know, like, we all need money.
Sure.
I'm not gonna lie, like, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we came up, you know, they took my side pattern and everything, and I voiced here and there like about the 2001, which is very similar to the D3. It just has some little bells and whistles, a little bit more to it.
Got
you know?
yeah.
Which when that one came out, I mean, that's when it went bonkers.
Right.
I think that's when Fred Durst was wearing them.
Okay.
And
What was different? Like the soul of it, basically.
overall, just kind of like updated.
Okay.
So like the side panel was reflective. We used reflective material and a lot of stuff, and it was easier to change up the color schemes with it.
Yep. Got you.
You know.
Okay.
So it became more of like a palette that you could just work with.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
Because you know some shoes are hard to come up with colorways.
Yeah.
Like they've done every single colorway under the sun for these. You
Right,
know.
right.
Like, 'cause I mean, it's still selling, and it's 2021.
Fucking
You know what I
crazy,
mean?
bro. I'm sure when you saw Fred Durst wearing them, you were like, "What the hell is going on?"
I just laughed.
Dave, did you have anything to do with the snowboard boot?
That is another thing that they came to me and asked, you know, do you mind if we do a snowboard line and have a D3 boot? And I was
Okay.
like, I told them that, I mean, at that point, it was basically a ripoff more of the 2001 D3. And I was just like, as long as you guys are going to pay me what, you know, I'm due
Right.
for, then whatever, you know?
Sure.
Like, it's just a concept. You know, if people like the concept, then whatever, you know? At that point, it had pretty much gone out of skateboarding. I mean, there's still people that were wearing it, but not, you know, you didn't see as many in the skate world.
Sure,
you know?
sure.
So yeah, I mean that one started jumping off, and then so they had the D3, the 2001, the snow boot.
God damn.
You know, things are popping off, and that was about the same time like the Storm. If you guys want to talk about the Storm, that's kind of like when
yeah.
Hell yeah.
Let me go get my tank ball gun.
Yeah, the Osiris Storm.
Great video.
it's so funny, like when you're prior to making a video, when you come up with a concept and you're like thinking like, that'd be kind of funny to do like paintballing and just film it, and like
Yeah.
it's the Storm, kind of make it not a good idea.
Yeah, kind of random, but it was highly anticipated back then.
It was.
I was,
Because they advertised the crap out of it.
yeah, and the team, like,
Of
like
course.
holy
Team,
shit,
like-
you got Smolak on there,
Of course.
Mayhew, like,
Yeah, I mean we were
Jerry.
freaking filming nonstop. It was like
Right.
nonstop tour.
yeah.
I don't know another company that toured as much as we did.
Seemed like you guys were
Like,
on
we did.
it.
They're trying to keep the skaters out of the office.
I mean,
There you
looked
go.
like you guys had like
that
crazy,
was a good
crazy
ride.
like tour buses like all over the place, and
Well, one time, yeah, we had
oh, that was after the
that was
video.
just the aftermath
After.
tour.
Okay.
Yeah.
But prior to that, we had this idea, and you guys might be able to relate, is like you're going on tour, you're just skating the jankiest stuff, you know, crappiest parking lots. Like, how can we change this? So we kind of came up with the idea of building some of our own stuff that at least you're like used to, and you know it's going to be decent.
For sure.
You know, because there's nothing worse than like showing up to parking lot. There's like 1,000 kids there, and they're like, "Here you go."
You're like, what the hell is
You
this?
know, that's how Rodney ended up breaking his ankle on an A-team tour.
Oh.
I remember we showed up to the spot, and Rodney was just like, "This doesn't look good."
Oh,
And
no.
it's like, "Oh, we just gotta like show, we just gotta do
Right.
it."
Yeah.
And it was like a little bit later, snap.
Oh my god.
And having your own shit there too is like, I mean, you're used to
Yeah, you're just
skating
kinda
it.
used to it,
Yeah,
yeah.
you know what tricks you're gonna do. Yeah.
So now you can
Put on
take
a
the
little
tricks
show.
that you're used to and do them every time,
There you go.
all over again, every
Hey.
single day.
Same
All good,
routine,
though.
yeah.
All
know?
good though. All good. That kid in that other state didn't see that trick that you did.
Yeah, no,
So
it's
It's like being a stand-up comic. You do the same bit every
Yeah,
or every stop you go to.
you hone your
Yeah.
craft.
yeah.
I just kind of the repetitiveness kind of ate at me.
I bet you. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, I mean it was gnarly. I mean we were doing like the demos and 4-in-1 wanted footage, and then the skate magazines were like, we're not taking any more demo footage. Like you got to go. So you're like
Yeah.
doing demos and then going street skating and then driving 8 hours the next spot. Like
Yeah.
we did some gnarly tours.
I can imagine, man. And so the storm, how long did that take to film? Were you filming for a year?
I mean that was after Troubleshooters.
2 years?
So I guess we kind of skipped Troubleshooters a little bit.
No, we touched on it a little bit. That was good.
But the way it formed and the way Steve did it is kind of interesting, because like I had filmed a bunch of stuff, and this we have to go back. This is Steve's idea from Madison, Wisconsin, that he wanted to do a video. So like I ended up filming a bunch of stuff, and he showed it to like Canton, Smolik, and then eventually they were all down. They're like, okay, this is gonna be sick.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
he's doing some stuff that's dope. Like this sounds fun. Like
Totally,
let's do it. You
yeah.
know. So yeah, because that's what kind of formed the Storm or the Troubleshooters video, which was kind of a prequel for the Storm.
Right.
Yeah, true.
You know, in a sense, because a lot of the same people were on it. You know.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean the team just grew and grew and grew, and like
I just tripped out. There were
did.
so many. When I was a kid, I was like, "Oh, all these guys from San Diego," and they're like, "Oh no, a lot of them are from Wisconsin."
yeah.
I just thought that was really random. Like, how did all this Wisconsin people end up in San Diego?
I don't know.
That happens.
Yeah.
What about Chad Knight? Wasn't he from? Where is he from?
He's from Ohio,
Ohio. That's right.
Westerville.
Okay.
And Dave Coyne.
Yep.
Dave
Dave
Coyne?
Coyne.
Dave Coyne.
That's right.
Yep. Can't forget Coyne. And Pizzelle was, I think he's from Ohio, but somewhere else. I'm not sure exactly.
Yeah, you guys really did a good job of coming out with the video, then going on an aftermath tour and really tying it all together and keeping that hype going. You
Yeah,
know?
I mean,
yeah.
you spend a lot of money on advertising.
Hell
That's
yeah.
what you get, you know?
For sure. For
Um,
sure.
So yeah, the Storm came out, and like we sold out the downtown San Diego theater, which a lot of people had premieres at. They would do like a show.
Spreckles? Is
Yes.
that- yeah. Okay.
They would do a show, and that was it.
Got you. Right.
Like we sold that thing out, I think 3 or 4 times.
Ooh.
There's still lines down. Like the police came, like they blocked off the whole street. Like it was gnarly.
God damn.
Like ridiculous.
I love that.
Yeah. So the video came out. It's doing good. My only thing I wish would have been like having just 1 or 2 filmers and have more like kind of cohesive filming versus like a lot of cameras and different,
Sure.
I think that was the one downfall of it was just like
Hey, listen. I mean, either way it went, it was like super popular.
Yeah,
you
no,
know,
I mean,
it really did well.
when you have that many people on the team, it's hard to like.
That's
Yeah.
true.
That's why these people nowadays, they're like one person kind of films the whole video. Like,
Right.
That's gnarly, man.
Well, because
Yeah.
nowadays the
Work.
filmer's thinking about the last trick that he filmed and how he can blend that into his part and this and that and clips and it's a whole thing. So going back to the Storm, that's amazing. The D3, I mean, where did we leave off with the D3? Because it was really gaining traction. The 2001 came out. That's when the Fred Durst and everybody was. I mean, this thing just kept going up and up
That
and
was
up and up.
like. That was also a time like the Storm came out before that, and then the Aftermath tour I think was when the that tour took place. Aftermath tour.
Yep.
Because we did U.S. in a big van or bus,
Tour bus,
mega bus.
kinda,
Great way to blow a lot of money.
Yeah.
But
a lot of companies were doing it back then,
Yeah,
though.
DVS
Yeah.
had a big old Winnebago.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
They
but this
bought
was like Pat Benatar was going to be on it after us.
Shit.
I mean, it was.
Oh, they
like-
were they were rented.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, it came with the driver, everything. So we did the U.S. It was crazy, and then you're having like thousands of people show up at demos and poster signings.
Insane.
And it was nuts. And then we did the Aftermath tour in Europe, and that was even ramped up more.
I'm sure.
I mean, everybody was like, this is like Powell Peralta was when Powell was Powell. Like it was insane.
Because there's levels to it. Like if you're in California, then you cross state lines to other states. It's crazy. And then you go out to other countries. It's even crazier.
Yeah.
Like back then, nobody's seeing all these pros.
Yeah.
You can't reach out and give them a DM or anything.
Yeah,
It's
for
fucking
sure.
nuts.
The tours are crazy. Everything's popping. Like we're just having fun. You know?
Yeah.
And it's like we felt once again like the direct influence. So it was like what we wanted to create, we create. So you
Right.
look at something like the G Bag.
Oh, yeah.
Who I would put more on like Smolik and Little B
Sure.
because we'd show up to the spots. They'd have their boombox, their backpack is right there, and it would be like it was just like a blend. And I don't even know if Brian came up with that or if it was Brandon and I don't know.
It worked.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
people,
was,
yeah.
it
That
was
out there.
fun for a while.
Yeah.
That's whatever. But like it was just cool to be a part of something that you guys can agree with that you can actually like
man.
voice your opinion.
Sure.
So there was like an ad concept. So like they wanted me to shoot this kind of lifestyle ad. I was working with this guy and meet up, and I'm just like, dude, I'm not feeling this, dude. Like,
Really?
I was like, let's do something that is like more along the lines with what I deal with,
Yeah.
So I remember I focused my board. I had tools in my backpack, and I was just changing. Like this is what skaters do. So I was just changing my board. We shot the picture, just white background, as clear as day. And then they ended up using that for a whole ad concept that ended up, I think the dude told me it won some kind of like award or something.
There you
just
go.
Creativity, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Skateboarders can't be creative. We should just get
Absolutely,
that
bro.
right,
Talented
Hell
people in
yeah.
skateboarding.
Damn
Hell
true.
yeah. Hell yeah.
Nor can skateboarders go to be shoe designers. Right?
Oh, wait, what did you say?
That's another thing that has been said about me is like I was just a skateboarder, not a shoe designer. Like,
Right.
the two can't coexist.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I mean, how many people do we know that were skateboarders have gone on to design
Scott
shoes?
Johnston.
There's quite a few.
Alf.
Alf.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of people have
Hell yeah.
done that.
Damn.
So the shoes jumping.
Yeah.
So then, I'm sitting there not skating in any of them. And so I go to Brian. I was like, I want to try to make a skate more skate friendly one,
Got you.
Like kind of keep the concept. And that was the D3 NTX.
NTX.
Yep.
Okay.
So it had like a real thin sole, definitely more skatable,
Okay.
Slim down.
Right.
But apparently people wanted the bulky,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
the bulky, D3, whatever, they wanted that. So that didn't do too well. And then, I'm still skating. At this point, A-Team had kind of crumbled and Enjoy kind of blossomed out of that.
Sure.
And, so I'm doing Osiris, Enjoy. I think I'd quit Crux, which is one of my biggest regrets.
Oh, really?
I'd rode for Crux forever, and they
Yeah.
supported me, and Rodney somehow talked me into riding for Tensor.
Okay.
But, yeah, Jeff Kendall was always dope to me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
whatever,
I mean, dude, the Tensors had the little thing on the truck. You couldn't
Little nose slide, little plastic nose slide thing.
funny thing is that we were on an A-Team tour, and Rodney was trying to come up with a name for it.
Mm-hmm.
And, he's real mathematical and all this stuff. And I told him, I was like, just dig in there and just find a name, like out of what, you're using and stuff. And Tensor actually has a meaning, as part of the truck.
Oh, interesting. I did not know
So
that.
Google that. I don't know
Okay.
it, but that's where the name kind
Huh.
of came from,
Oh, I had no
Kinda
idea.
interesting.
No idea.
So then Mark ends up leaving Enjoy and going to Chocolate.
Yep. Yep.
That kind of ruffled everything at Enjoy. And then Matt Eversole took over. And at about the same time, I have several shoes out with Osiris that I get a phone call from Mark DeLellis, who is better known as Shockus.
Oh, yeah.
Rest in peace. Good homie. He calls me up and is basically like, there's a press release at Osiris telling everybody you're off the team, wishing you luck, that you've been really supportive, yada, yada.
That's how you found out that you're
Yeah.
off the team?
Yep.
Wow.
Crazy.
No
Whoa.
conversation. No nothing.
Yeah.
Wow.
You didn't see
No.
this coming at all?
No.
Wow.
Wow.
Especially
I mean,
when
how-
the shoe's cranky. Like everything is like,
I know.
what are we talking
But
about?
they're still making the shoe.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're going to
So-
continue making it. Okay, he's laughing.
Yeah. So basically, we're familiar with the word hijack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The shoe's doing great. What makes sense for the company to do is like, kick me off the team and let's keep all this money.
Let's take his name off the shoe.
Is basically what happened.
Right. Okay.
Is what they attempted to do.
Sure.
So then I go into the office. I'm just like, with Mag and Reed and I don't even know who else was there. And like, I'm just like, what's going on? This is crazy.
Yeah.
And they basically like kind of calmed me down enough to the point where like, we're going to keep paying you. Things are changing and, I get it. All companies go through change and stuff. But at that point, like, it just didn't make sense. Like I was filming, still and this and that and like, having ads and stuff, like doing
Still
what
on
was-
Enjoy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
doing what was asked of a pro.
Sure.
Totally.
Wasn't like I was sitting at the beach just, pina coladas, chilling,
A little
like,
umbrella in the pina colada.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I was still doing work.
Sure.
And obviously, so yeah, they pretty much, wanted to still pay me, but kick me off the team.
How does that work? Like, why not just leave your name on the squad?
Because sometimes there's bigger plans,
Yeah.
and what had happened was, so then Mark's leaving Enjoy, and I get this news shortly after about, this, and I'm just like, maybe it's just done.
Right.
And I go in and they tell me they're still going to pay me. I'm just like, maybe this is just time. Like I never wanted to be the pro that still had a board out, not holding my weight.
Got you.
You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
Like, there's only so many boards you can put on a wall. Like,
Sure.
some people might deserve it.
I get you. Yeah.
So I never wanted to be that dude. So yeah, I kind of came to terms with like, okay, this is going to be it, So I kept filming. Osiris did a video called Subject to Change, which I had a full part for. Worked with Mark Chagas on it and go to the premiere. my part's not in it.
Oh, you thought you were gonna have a part though.
Yeah, they took my part out.
Wow.
There's some dirty ass dudes.
Mag,
That's so crazy, bro.
according to Mark Chagas, is that Mags was like, take Dave's part out.
Wow.
So I'm at the premiere. I mean, imagine going to the premiere, you'd film for
Oh, yeah.
you're sitting there and you're just like,
Video's over. Like, where's my
Was it
shit?
advertised that you were gonna have a part in the video
I believe so, but it wasn't. They didn't do advertising like they did
for the storm?
you
Yeah.
know? It's weird because like all these things are kind of hitting me
Right.
pretty close, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just hard because Brian Reed was like a super good homie of mine, you know.
Right.
And when you start getting like stabbed by your homies and like, it's gnarly, you know.
Yeah, man.
I always try to look at both sides of a story, but I'm always like, in something like that, like, why not have the conversation beforehand? You know what I mean?
Yeah, because conversations
Like
mean a lot.
that's it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, hey, if we're gonna take your part out, like, hey, let's talk. We're trying to figure something else
There's a
out.
lot of conversations. That should
But
happen.
he did say that they were gonna pay you, but not put you on the team. So
Yeah, basically they're kicking me off the team, but behind the scenes they're still going to pay me.
I mean, they're still
And,
selling your shoe.
At that point, I kind of just hit a wall, and I was like, it was funny because my parents were like, just come back to Madison. Like I only got, I'd see them every once in a while. And, like pretty much ended up selling my house, moving back to Wisconsin, just kind of abruptly.
Right.
You
You opened up a skate shop
sold my
there.
house. Yeah, I mean, that's getting into it. But just like kind of went back and was just depressed.
Yeah, I bet.
Just in shock because it all like it just happened.
that.
Boom.
Yeah.
where is that like button? Right? Is it right here or right here?
Just a little scroll coming down the bottom.
It's
Subscribe.
over to it's on your
It's on my right?
left.
It's on
No,
my
on your
left.
left.
Hey,
Yeah.
hit that
there.
button right there.
Right there.
Right there.
Yeah, please.
The like button's kind of like in the middle there. It's like we're kind of.
Oh, it's like
there.
right here?
Kind of.
Like
yeah,
right
the
there?
subscribe's like over to the left.
It's like right over there. All right.